Welcome to our container security group meeting. Um, let's see, Alexander, I think you have the first item.
Yeah, just under highlights, my progress on the UI is that I added a feature flag for this, and the tab exists, and it is currently showing an empty div, but I have an MR up to show the initial alerts. It's just in a table with no actions, and I will go from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great job.
Quick question, Alexander. Have you seen or used the feature flag rollout issues yet? There's a template for feature flag rollout.
I have. I've created a rollout issue already.
Cool.
Thank you.
What have you turned? Have you turned it on for any projects or users?
No, I can if you want.
Yeah, if Sam wants, would
yeah,
you like to see it live, Sam? We can.
Yeah, sure. I think we have time for a quick demo.
Oh
no! I was offering to turn it on and send it later.
Okay, that's what I thought for a minute. You said turn it on. I'm like, okay.
I'll pick a project, the demo projects, and I can turn it on for that, Alexander, or you can do it if you're happy to exercise your ops, GitOps, what is it called? Chat ops bot?
Yeah, I've never actually used the chat ops thing besides be like test. And so it'll probably be good for me to turn it on for like a small project and know that I'm not breaking everything.
Hit me up if you want help. It's you see a bunch of examples there.
Yeah. Tell me, give me a project, link me a project, and I'll turn it on. I mean, right now it's just an empty tab, so not the most exciting thing, but certainly in the future there will be more actions.
Don't feel bad asking them to wait a little bit, Alexander. You're still putting stuff together. They can wait a little bit.
Don't let him peer pressure you, Alexander. He's really looking out for you.
I don't feel bad. I mean, I don't feel bad about showing an empty tab, iteration. But just give me a project and I'll turn it on.
Done.
I have the next agenda item, and that's just a call out that we've made the decision to move the accomplishments to the bi-weekly threat management staff meeting. So I didn't create the list of all the container security issues that were closed. I think it's still good to highlight things like this, things that you're proud of, but we will do the complete list on the agenda for the threat management staff meeting.
All right, Tiago.
So I had to catch up with Zamir, and thank you for your comment there, Sam, falling on the sword. But I can't let you take that responsibility on your own. But Zamir has been spending a lot of time building a relationship with the configure team on the Agent K and CAS and all that's needed to control the Kubernetes side and Cilium side to get alerts for traffic flows. He's been building a relationship with the Cilium group, and the net of it, of my comment there, is that creating alerts for denied flows it doesn't exist. Cilium doesn't have support for it. We need to add to it. So it would be something very, did I do the opposite? Thank you. It would be hard to get it done for the 4.13.7. So my suggestion there is to do something that Sam is now confirming that was already the idea. So definitely a miscommunication there, and I'll take some responsibility for that as well. But it looks like we're okay then. So, Zamir, do you want to add context to
can I share even now or later? Can I share my screen so then I can show a little bit of what we're talking about?
Yeah, please.
That'd be awesome.
So then let me go here. Desktop to share. Can you all see my screen? It's a terminal with a bunch of windows. Okay, so so basically what I want to show here is that there's a difference between the information that we get when we have a flow. It means that when the connection is established between one pod and the other one, and there is another set of information that's provided to us when there is a drop in the package. So in this example here, it's very simple. I just have a couple of pods here. In this case here, we have TIE Fighter and X-Wing that they are going to try to access Death Star. And so if I just run Hubble, it's the one that's going to centralize all the log information for among all the nodes based on Cilium. And if I try to just go with X-Wing, we are going to have a policy denied because there is a policy that doesn't allow X-Wing to go to Death Star. And if I just highlight here policy, you're going to see that there's a drop reason here, and then it mentions that's a policy denied. But if I go with the TIE Fighters, it's allowed to go to Death Star. So then let me just refresh here. Now we have a flow. It just means here that the verdict, it's forward. The tricky part here is that there's no information in regard to the policy. This is just the label. So then what means is that if we have a policy ingress that's going to allow this, or in the case we don't have any policy at all, the log information that we're going to get with the flow is the same. Is it clear, or is it more confusing than before?
Yeah, that makes sense because it can potentially, it's allowed when it doesn't match on any policies, or in the latest release, they just barely released allow policies. So you can actually allow something. But yeah, that makes great sense. We do want to cover that use case at some point, but not part of the MVC. Right now in our policy editor in the UI that we've built, we don't let you write allow policies anyway. You can only write policies that block things. So we would have to add, we would have to make some pretty heavy changes to let the users write allow policies now, instead of just block policies, and then, another step to create alerts. So yeah, no worries. I think that's outside of the scope for the MVC. We just want our UI as it exists now to support alerts.
And just to reiterate on what Thiago was talking about, I'm also to be blamed that I was considering that we were doing the alerts on the flow. So sorry for that.
Good thing we brought it up.
Yeah.
Well, we're closer for when we get to it down the road, right? We know what to do anyway.
So I guess we're good then. The part that John is not on the call, but the part that he's doing is under control. And now I think the front end is under control. We just saw the feature flag. The MVC will reuse the ops dashboard, which is great. It'll just, there's no front end work needed for that. It's just populating the alerts. And Zamir, you got everything that you need now as well, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I'm able to get the policy verdict information from the API. So then it would reduce a little bit of the ambiguity that we would have when matching the network policies with the log.
Yeah, but, I was gonna mention that.
Yeah, if I don't get the information on policy verdict, we can have a little bit of ambiguity for the first version, and we can create a follow-up issue for something other than that for next iteration or something. I'm in touch with the Cilium folks. Sometimes just take longer to get a reply. It's a lot of people in the channel usually.
Cool. Without this, Zamir, if we wanna have the ambiguity, I think that could be an easier, that would increase our confidence level, wouldn't it? Just say don't worry about the confidence for MVC. Or is not something that would...
You mean the confidence or ambiguity?
The confidence on what policy triggered that deny. Yeah, removing the ambiguity.
Yeah, yeah. If it's just a matter of making it work or not. If I'm not able to get the API running, yeah, I'm trying to with the new version now 1.9. I start testing 1.9 yesterday, and then yeah, we can make a decision on that. I can update the issue.
Okay, and with the upgrade to 1.9, does that also complicate things around releasing, or is it just a Helm chart update?
It's just a version of Helm chart on our side for that.
Okay, so I'll need to write an issue for that because we don't have one.
Okay.
Zamir, have you containing the, or not containing, with reference to what you just showed us about the issue you found about the alerts not showing up for allowed and like flows, have you documented that in a spike or somewhere?
No, I didn't. I can update over there. I think Arthur mentioned that ages ago, and at that time I was thinking we were talking about the Cilium logs, not the Hubble logs. And then, but I can just add over there just to make sure that we are all on the same page, especially people who are not in the meeting.
Got it. Cool. Thank you. And also, Tiago, you mentioned something about the front end and not needing work with operations or something.
Yeah, to use the existing ops dashboard, there's no changes required to the front end, as I understand it, because if the GraphQL query returns alerts, it'll show on the dashboard regardless of them being produced by Prometheus, which is what they're using, or Hubble, which is what we're producing.
Okay, and you said as for 13.7, we're just going to show our alerts in their dashboard, in their list, and that's fine. But going forward, we would want to remove our alerts from their list.
At a minimum is what I meant. If ours is ready, I don't see why we wouldn't introduce it in 13.7, unless Sam has an opinion on whether we want to pick one or the other, you know.
So I am just a little bit hesitant about releasing with our alerts showing up on their dashboard, simply because this is a feature that we want to reserve for Ultimate. And GitLab has a policy that once you put something in core, you're not supposed to ever pull it back out or move it up to a higher tier. So it's kind of it's a one directional thing for the most part. They actually might have softened their language around that a little bit recently, but it would be a lot cleaner if we can just say, this is an Ultimate feature, and it always was Ultimate, and it just it's an Ultimate feature.
Yeah, the follow-up issue has a filter to go and remove that from there. So if we wanted to show that there and still obey that Ultimate restriction, we need some ideas there to go, hey, you don't have the Ultimate, there's alerts, but we can't show to you. So at that point, we might as well just go to our own dashboard, right? Is where you sort of what you're on about. Okay. Well,
yeah, I mean, I think we could probably argue our way around it by saying, our dashboard was always an Ultimate. And the monitor team's dashboard was always in core. All we've changed is the data that shows up natively. But I don't know. It would certainly be a lot cleaner if we could just, from our first release, keep it all squarely in Ultimate. It gets a little bit more sticky otherwise.
Understood. I don't want to speak for the front-end team on the likelihood of that making it, so I'll shut up now.
It would be more, John and I talked this morning about his way to limit that, make sure that their list only gets their alerts. And he's working on, he showed me that he had an MR up and they wanted to change direction on it. And he seemed to think that up until now, we've thought it was a 13.8 thing. So if we want to really push for that, we should say now. We should say now that we should push for that for 13.7, so that John knows that that is a higher priority than what he thinks it is now.
I mean, if we don't do that, Sam, alerts would show there anyway. So I guess then the decision becomes, if we don't have it, do we put the whole feature behind a feature flag? Or do we let, if some people happen to configure Cilium policies and alerts, they might get some data there that will disappear on the next release?
I'll have to think about it. I'm leaning towards a feature flag. I think it's going to be it seems super unlikely that people are going to do that right away. But if somebody does do that and they have data showing up and then it disappears and they were in free tier, and our answer is, well, now to see that you have to go buy Ultimate. I think
for experience
called out on our, and I put a link in the agenda, but we might get called out on our open source stewardship promise for that one. So I think we probably should do a feature flag.
Another possibility without using a feature flag on the back end is, Amir, keep me honest here, please. Put that check in CAS. So CAS will receive alerts, but if it's not an Ultimate installation, it'll just drop them.
I'm not sure if CAS is aware of the permission level of the count. I think CAS is it's a very basic version that just load the base of configuration, send to agent K, and get information back and call the internal API. It could be a feature for CAS, but then it might take a little bit of time to get approved through the guys from Configure.
But if CAS doesn't know it and it's going to call the Rails API, then the Rails API will definitely know about it, and then we can
we can put on as part of the internal API. But yeah, I agree with Alexandra. We should decide it now. Otherwise, it might just ramp up all the MRs that are going to get merged.
Yeah,
no pressure, Sam.
So I don't know. After rereading our open, what we've got stated for our open source stewardship promise, I think we should. The decision is that we should not release with displaying the alerts in the monitor teams page in core. So if it displays there, but only for Ultimate, that's fine. But we've got to filter it behind Ultimate or gate it behind a feature flag in some way. Okay.
So my gut feeling is that our best chance is to put that filter in the Rails API. I'll update an issue or create an issue and talk to Jan about it.
Cool. While we're talking about what's available during core and what's available during Ultimate, Sam, I guess I'm putting you on the spot. I apologize, but in the epic, and I'm sorry, this is again ad hoc, I just thought of this thing. So again, I apologize. Where's the epic? In the epic, there was some discussion about, because we're sharing the same alerts table as the monitor team, that when you are at the monitor teams, let me bring up a thing quick. And Zamir will know what I'm talking about as soon as I start share this. But and again, okay. So in here, because we're using the same table, these IDs, I believe, are coming from a table. And if you click on this, the endpoint, or like the details page shows, and the endpoint up here links to the ID from the table. And so I can, change this number to whatever, and it will load that issue's details. If we're using the same table as the monitor team, and say there's like 5 alerts that a user sees, and 3 of them go to the monitor team's alerts, and the other 2 go to our alert table, they may see in this page, 1, 3, 5, and wonder where the other two alerts are coming from.
Sure.
And that might be hidden. Well, wait, is that even actually is that a use case? Like, could someone set up Hubble without buying the Ultimate license?
I believe so.
So they could set up Hubble,
Yes.
be getting alerts from Hubble, but the alerts wouldn't be showing up here. They'd be showing up behind the Ultimate. Is that correct?
You would probably have to do it somewhat manually. I don't know, Zamir.
Yeah, they would have to create all the Cilium setup exactly as we are expecting in order for Agent K to be able to load data from them. So I think there is a very small chance of someone being able to do that.
Okay.
But it's possible.
And I'm not worried about protecting against that use case. I mean,
okay.
You know, if somebody wants to go to that level of work to set it all up themselves,
okay.
You know, more power to them. If they want to hack the system, if you will, right, and get it to work, like they're just using the monitor team's functionality to suit their purposes. What they're not going to get, they're still not going to get our security dashboard. And one of the big reasons we're splitting it out is because those personas are different, right? So even if they did all of that, the compromise they have to live with is all of their monitor alerts are going to be mixed in with their security alerts. And, you know, they would have to be okay with that.
Got it. Okay, cool. I am content then.
So yeah, as long as we can safely say, you know, it is an ultimate feature, that's great. And if someone wants to go do their own development work to have it show up, you know, I mean, that's true of any of our features. It's an open source code base. Anyone could take our product and extend it and add in whatever they wanted to and recompile it if they really wanted to put in that time and energy. Cool. Any other questions on this one? So here's my last question. With all of that clarification and discussion, where are we sitting at? You know, what's our confidence level if we were just to do a quick, everyone raise your hand and put up a number between 1 and 5, where 5 is like, yeah, home run, it's definitely happening in 13.7, and 1 is absolutely no way. Where are we at?
I will start from the front end perspective. I have a draft MR to show the alerts. And I'd probably need another day on. So I think showing the alerts is good to go. I think changing alert status is good to go, is going to be good to go. And I forget other requirements, but at this moment, but there's a few other things that I think we can get in for the front end. So that I'm feeling confident about.
From the back end, for example, last week, I had a chat with Mike from Configure, and he basically changed the structure of Agent K to have like a plugin style of development. So it's very good for us, but it's a type of thing that if we have issues going forward on that, we may not make to all the changes in 13.7. So it's a great change. It helps us to move forward, even with the features that we're going to develop further on based on Agent K. But it takes a toll right now for this release, in my opinion.
On top of that, there's the on the back end, we still need the API changes to support the front end, right? So changing status, I don't know if that already exists. Does it, Alexander? It does. Excellent. I need to put in the issue to make sure it's not accepting alerts from Cilium if it's not an ultimate installation. So that's new. And there's the existing MR for persisting alerts. I think the original MRs are in review there too. There are two. There's one in review, one in draft. So I'm not going to speak for John in that, but I'll check with him. So I'm giving a 2.
2. All right. Well,
Until I speak with Jen, hopefully I can upgrade that to a 3 or a 4. But yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for the insight on that, so I get a good feel of where we're at. Appreciate it. And I think Kyle's item was async, so that's everything for today. Thanks for joining, and we'll chat again next week.
Bye, friends.